Humperdinck moving out of the ring at this time. Good arm drag takedown by young Terry Taylor. Here's the $5,000 challenge, and it'll be interesting to see if Taylor can score a pinfall. Good move by the Super Destroyer. Kept Taylor trapped into the canvas. Taylor very nicely moves up for a head scissors. And it is Taylor who has the Super Destroyer on the canvas. Sir Oliver Humperdinck looking on with a bit of consternation. By the way, speaking of Sir Oliver Humperdinck, really, you know, a lot of folks have been calling him Pumpkin. May I just say that because he does have sort of orange hair, does have a name Humperdinck, and he does sort of have a pumpkin-like build. That really, it upsets him greatly when he's called that, so. Good move by Super Destroyer. Variation of the Cobra across the throat, across the side of the neck, I might add. Taylor. There's some problems here. Trying to break that up. They were into the ropes, and the referee forced the break. And the Super Destroyer using the back of the elbow. And again, that variation, much like a Cobra, it traps the one arm. He traps his opponent's arm, crosses on the other side. Taylor fires to the midsection, having little or no effect. Now Taylor smashed into that turnbuckle. Taylor hanging on. So the Super Destroyer has been most effective with this. Referee again checking carefully. He is not choking. The front of the neck is completely free. It is not choked. This puts down tremendous pressure on either side of the neck. It's like enclosing the neck in a vise. Taylor makes it to the ropes once again, and the referee calls for the break. Taylor coming up very slowly now as the Super Destroyer appears to have his man totally under control at this time. And again, moving in with the Cobra hold. But he has not been able to cinch it down enough across that carotid artery to cause unconsciousness. But he is obviously has been impeding the flow of blood to the brain. This has to slow the mental processes. When you begin to starve the brain of oxygen and from blood, of course, he has full oxygen flow. But again, keeping that Cobra hold on Terry Taylor. And Taylor in an almost helpless state here as the Super Destroyer keeps that hold clamped on. Taylor again trying to battle his way back to his feet, cannot. And you'll note that Super Destroyer, Taylor, obviously must be weakening at this point. Taylor coming up very slowly. He has been slowed measurably. On him with a knee coming in, high in the chest. And again, clamps down with a Cobra. So Taylor back on his feet, trying desperately to get out of that Cobra hold, but now he does. Terry Taylor catches him a good flying drop kick, and not much time remaining. Not much time remaining. Terry Charlie Taylor caught coming in by the Super Destroyer. Super Destroyer brings him up. The shoulder breaker. Hooks the far leg. And scores the pinfall.
Wrestling 2. His opponent from the Far East, James J. Dillon, presents Kendo Nagasaki, the Black Ninja.
Kendo Nagasaki going up against Mr. Wrestling number 2. And, of course, we heard the words of Tommy Young earlier that the karate thrust to the throat or using the point of the foot as a savant-like karate attempt is both are illegal. Nagasaki coming out into the ring, and it is Wrestling 2-handed. Wrestling 2 caught in the midsection, then caught across the back end. It is Nagasaki exploding with everything that he has, and he's catching with the flat of the foot there, but again, the flat of the foot. I'm still absolutely amazed at what happened here just moments ago. I'll tell you what, Butch Reed may indeed become the first black NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Boy, you talk about a man who has got it all together. The courage, the physical conditioning, the determination, the smarts. He's got it all. And what he poses for Ric Flair after this bit of total humiliation, I've got to believe that Flair is totally psyched out. Wrestling 2 having his problems now with Nagasaki, and Nagasaki sending 2 through the ropes. And Wrestling 2 caught again in the side of the head, and Nagasaki has him outside the ring. He is using chops here, but they fall within the spectrum. Has thus far been in charge, if you will. And Wrestling 2 having some problems getting it together. And Wrestling 2 flashes out with a foot. Now Nagasaki catches him once again, and Wrestling 2, white mask turning crimson. Wrestling 2 caught him that time with a forearm across the jaw. Wrestling 2 explodes one to the midsection. Wrestling 2 now with the left hand and then the right, and another left and another right, and now suddenly Wrestling 2 explodes on Kendo Nagasaki, having a high backdrop. And it is Nagasaki on the canvas in Wrestling 2. Letting loose with everything he's got, and apparently nothing will deter him now. The high knee lift that staggers Nagasaki backwards. And another knee lift that puts Nagasaki to the canvas. Wrestling 2 with a lateral press. Nagasaki powers out before the count of 3, however. Caught him with a knee lift that time. That also knocked the referee outside the ring. Snapmare by Wrestling 2. Wrestling 2 now with a lateral press. And has him down, well, within the realm of a 3 count here. But the referee, who had been knocked outside the ring trying to get back to his move. And Wrestling 2 caught in the throat. Caught in the throat and caught again, and that one certainly appeared to be a karate thrust. And it is wrestling to outside the ring, but that certainly appeared to be a karate thrust to me. The referee tolling the count. And in deference and in defense of the referee, not being aware of what had happened here. The count is on. The referee calls for the bell. Upsetting turn of events. Here's the referee has called for the bell and was not aware of what did happen, and it is Nagasaki now after the mask of Wrestling 2 as Wrestling 2 makes it back into the ring. And it is Nagasaki trying to rip the mask off of Mr. Wrestling number 2. The referee trying to separate them. Bear in mind this match is technically over in Wrestling 2. Being set upon now. Wait a second. Brian Blair just hit the ring. Brian Blair just hit the ring. And Nagasaki battling back. And now Wrestling 2 is there. And now Nagasaki and J.J. Dillon leave the ring. And we'll be back in just a moment.
Sumo wrestling concentrates primarily in the upper body, but now he's had a lot of experience going up against exceptionally heavy men and exceptionally powerful men, and that's exactly what and LeDuc powered him off. Tendrew with sort of a questioning look on his face as if he could not quite believe that Joe LeDuc was capable of powering him off as he did. Tendrew now with a side headlock on LeDuc. LeDuc fires him off. Freight train caught him with a forearm. Put Tendrew to the canvas. LeDuc waiting for the man to regain his feet. Tendrew back on his feet. LeDuc. Very calm, very methodical, extremely determined. Again, Tendrew with a side headlock. Referee checking, make sure there's no choke. Again, Joe LeDuc. A tremendous strength coming to the fore. Tendrew backing away now and again, trying to figure out some method of attack that might be successful on Joe LeDuc. Straight at him, pulls him back into the ring ropes. The referee calls for the break. LeDuc. And this is a different Joe LeDuc than we've seen in the past. And a very mature and very determined individual. Tendrew meets him head on once again and again. Pulls LeDuc back to the... Caught him with a chop on the break. And LeDuc starts moving. LeDuc starts stalking Tendrew. Tendrew lashes out with a foot to the midsection. A chop to the throat, and LeDuc fires back. And LeDuc, another forearm. Tendrew up against those ropes, back on his feet. LeDuc continues to stalk his man. Collar and elbow. Tendrew with a side headlock. To the side of the head. Tendrew with a side headlock once again. Tendrew cuts to the throat. Lateral press. LeDuc powers him off. Tendrew putting him to the canvas once again. LeDuc powers him off again. Those tremendous forearms of his. Tendrew brought up the backbreaker. The backbreaker by Joe LeDuc. LeDuc down across his throat, paying him back for that thrust to the throat that he got earlier. And Joe LeDuc, grimly determined.